Hey everybody, Pat Palmer, the computer guy here from Hampton, Iowa, and I wanted to cover a topic today that has been getting a lot of press in my email box and a lot of discussion on social media, and that is the newest scam out there, basically called Sextortion. It's the Sextortion email, and it is coming to a lot of email boxes. People are scared, people are upset, people are seeing old passwords or current passwords being emailed to them, and it's a pretty sternly addressed email that people are getting. Let's talk a little bit about that and what causes them, why my email password is showing up, the subject in the subject line, and how is this happening. Right now, we're joined by a very special guest, Ken Dwight of Houston, Texas. He is known as the Virus Doctor, and I've known Ken since about 2012. Always been a reliable source, and is always on the front end lines of checking out viruses, hoax, scams, and whatnot. And is also a teacher of the virus remediation training in Houston, Texas, and around the country. And I was very happy to take his course back in 2012. Ken, welcome to our program.
Thanks, Pat. Appreciate you having me.
You bet. Let's talk a little bit about this this scam that's going around, and how serious should we take this, and what's going on?
Well, great topic, and the first answer to your question is you don't need to take it seriously. It's just another scam. It's just another way that the bad guys have of trying to extort money out of people. And I'll let you go into the details of what it looks like and then what people are seeing and why they're concerned, and then I'll jump back in and talk about why they don't need to be too concerned.
Sure, and we'll put the email, a sample email, up on the screen here, and I blocked out the to and the from and the topic here because I don't want to expose any of your contact information here, because this is the one actually Ken got and forwarded to me about this topic. Of course, let's get straight to the point. You don't know me, and you're likely wondering why you're getting this email. Not a single person paid me to check on you. Anyway, they go on and on and on in this email about how they're going to basically blackmail you about the activities that you've done on your computer. They claim they've started your webcam, if you have one, and that they've recorded you watching pornographic material, is basically what it is. They also have a solicitation in here for Bitcoin. And of course, up in North Iowa, it is very, very hard to get Bitcoin now. In other parts of the world, they have Bitcoin, basically Bitcoin ATMs, where you can buy Bitcoin on that. So, Ken, let's talk a little bit about the email, and should I run right out and buy $1,000 worth of Bitcoin?
Not today, Pat. The thing that really scares people about this, as you alluded to, is that in the subject line itself, it actually gives your username and password from some account. And so people see that and say, oh, God, that really is my username and password. They really have hacked my system. They really are watching me and whatever. And the reality is that hasn't happened. What has happened, as you know, there have been a lot of major breaches of everything from Target to Chase Bank to Equifax to on and on and on. And in total, just in the U.S., hundreds of millions of sets of ID information have been compromised. And literally more than everybody in the U.S. Has had their login credentials compromised multiple times. And so, in fact, we don't know which one, but this information obviously comes from one of those breaches. And and I guess non-geeks might not understand what happens when somebody like Target is breached. And I think the number was 145 million accounts that were compromised that way. And what that means is they got at a minimum, email address, username, and password of 140 some million people, which is close to half of the U.S. population just in Target. And there was one not long ago that compromised over 300 million, which is more than the population of the U.S. So when I say that each person in the U.S., their information has been compromised multiple times, that's what I'm talking about. The point is, that's a snapshot of a particular account you had with that particular company that got compromised at some time in the past. And most of the reports I'm getting is that these usernames and passwords appear to be about 10 years old. And I know the username and password that appeared in the email that I got was actually one that I used early in my internet surfing days. And so that's been at least 10 years ago. Now that also leads into something else that people hear about but maybe don't take too seriously, that's the importance of having different usernames and passwords for different accounts and websites that you go to. Because in this example, if I use the same username and password for every account I go to, then bam, if they log on to Chase or Wells Fargo or any major account, maybe major bank, and put in my credentials, if I'm using the same ones for everything and haven't changed them in 10 years, then that account could get compromised.
Okay.
But that's why it looks so legitimate, but trust me, it's not.
Right, and people, again, are very, very scared because I think in a couple of cases they hadn't changed their password within X amount of days or X amount of years, and so this is, of course, scaring them a lot. So that's the key.
Or they have been going to the porn sites.
Yeah, and of course, I had a grandparent call the other day because their grandson had stayed overnight for a couple of days, and she thought that he had done all this, and I said, no, this was just a luck of the draw type of thing, and that's how this thing came off. Again, with social media, the same thing can happen with fake accounts and various things like that, demanding money from spoofed accounts. What I suggest for folks on social media, like I've always said, is change your password now and then also enable two-step verification on all of your social media accounts. So if you log in from a different location, it sends a note to your cell phone that, oh, somebody's logged in from a different account, you better check this, hit yes or no, and that usually can take care of some of that. But again, we want to certainly thank Ken Dwight from Houston, Texas, the virus doctor, for stopping by. Ken, always a pleasure to talk to you.
Thanks, Pat. You too. We'll see you soon.
You bet. Ken Dwight from Houston, Texas, the virus doctor, who also has a monthly webinar that I tune into now and then and get a lot of hints and tips and things like that and pass them on to you as well. Now, if you have a question about email or a social media thing that has happened that is not really on the up and up that you think should be looked into, please give me a call, 641-420-1234. You can always reach me on my website as well as at www.thecomputerguy.bz. And of course, on text or social media as well, just reach out. So that's our topic for today is sextortion, the sextortion email scam. You be safe out there.